Om Namah Shivaya, Episode 30, Chapter 7, verses 13 to 19. Ignorance of Brahman is the cause of our delusion and sorrow. Now the question is, who is Brahman? Brahman is existence, consciousness and bliss, Sat Chit Ananda, whose presence gives existence to this entire creation. Brahman is Shiva and Shakti, Tattva 1 and 2, and Shakti's divine pulsation is Ishvara, who is creating, sustaining and dissolving the universe. Ishvara as the sustainer is Lord Vishnu. Vasudeva is everything. Vasudeva Sarvam Iti, whose essential nature is Nitya, Suddha, Buddha, Mukta, Swabhava. First, Nitya means eternal, always is, not subject to time. Second, Suddha is pure, and because it is Nitya, always pure, it does not become pure or impure. It is free from bondage, free from punyas and papas, free from birth and death. Third, Buddha means all-knowing, enlightened. It is Nitya Buddha, always enlightened. And fourth, Mukta, always free. Once we remove our ignorance, we are always pure, always enlightened, and naturally always free. Let us chant this chant. Om Shivoham Shivoham Shiva Swarupam Shivoham Shivoham Shiva Swarupam Nityoham Sutoham Buddhoham Muktoham Nityoham Sutoham Buddhoham Muktoham Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om. As we mentally keep chanting this chant, appreciating our true nature through knowledge, and as our minds gets purified, it removes our ignorance and delusion to become established in Brahman, to discover we are Satchit Ananda Atma. With this understanding, let us analyze verses 13 to 19. Verse 13 tells us that this entire world of human being is deluded due to our desires born of the modification of the three gunas. Tribir Gunamayir Babir Ebi Sarvam Idam Jagat Mohitam. Our threefold guna composition depends on our accumulated karmas in our subconscious mind, and our mind is under the control of Maya. If Sattva guna predominates and we desire for the knowledge of Brahman, then we are ready to cross over Maya. If Rajoguna predominates, we desire for wealth, pleasure, power, etc. And if Tamoguna predominates, our desires are for wrong values. We are so busy fulfilling our desires and complaining about our inadequacies. telling God that you did not give me this, you did not give me that, why did you do this, why didn't you do that? Deluded, we do not know that Ishvara is changeless, distinct from and beyond the modification of the three gunas. Nabijanati mam ebhya param avyayam. We do not recognize that Ishvara is the Atma, our true self, that is beyond the three gunas. Because we have no knowledge of Brahman. We do not know how to discriminate between Atma and Anatma, between Nityam and Mithya. Verse 14 tells us that to release ourselves from this delusion, we must cross over Maya, which is under the control of Lord Vishnu, Ishvara as the sustainer. Ishvara's Maya Shakti, which comes in the form of the modification of the three gunas, is very difficult to cross. Devi hyase gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. We must seek Ishvara to cross over Maya. Mam eva ye prapatyante maya metam tarantite. Maya is very difficult to cross because our threefold gunas obstructs our mind of the vision of Ishvara by fascinating and leading us astray. We cannot get out of Maya's spell unless we get out. And as long as we are under her spell, we cannot get out. Maya is Mohini, which comes in a varieties of forms of desires, like desire for wealth, power, pleasure, etc. And Lord Vishnu comes as a Mohini in many instances. Once some ascetics were doing rituals to gain power, and Mohini came and enchanted them with her beautiful voice and beauty. When they heard her enchanting voice, these ascetics stopped their rituals and followed her. And they got lost in the forest and Mohini disappeared. Then they realized their mistakes and they went home disappointed. Later, when they met Lord Shiva and found that he had more powers than them, they asked to be taught. And Lord Shiva told them that by asking for more powers, they will not be contented. Only the knowledge of Brahman will give them the wisdom to see that they are Purna, they lack nothing. And thereby Lord Shiva taught them the knowledge of Brahman, which liberated them. They became free. Verse 15 tells us what prevents us from seeking Ishvara. Namam prapatyante. First, we can be dushkirtinaha. We have been doing wrong actions in the past and continue doing them. Number two, we can be muda, deluded. Our priorities are confused. We do not know what actions we must do and what actions we must not do. Third, we can be naradama. We can be the lowest among human beings due to our ignorance and inability to discriminate between right and wrong. Fourth, we can be Mayaya Prakrta Jnanaha. Maya has taken this treasure from us, this knowledge of Brahman, has covered us in ignorance, has robbed us of this wisdom. And number 5, Asuram Bhavam Ashritaha. We are deluded due to our wrong values in life. We are asuras. To get out of this seemingly hopeless situation, we don't even have to know Ishvara as our true self. Just know there is a higher power, that certain changes will start taking place and prayers will develop. And then we see things moving towards a happier life. Verse 16 tells us that there are 4 groups of people who do good action, who worship Ishvara. Chaturvida bhajante mam jnana sukkirtina. Number 1 is the artha, those in distress. They worship Ishvara to free themselves from their trouble, from their pain. At least in times of trouble, they think of Ishvara. Number 2, the arthati, those who are righteously working towards wealth, pleasure, power. They are abiding to the law of dharma. And number 3, the jignasus, who are seeking moksha, the knowledge of Brahman. And number 4, the jnanis, who have already gained the knowledge of Brahman. They are men of wisdom. Their devotion has blossomed into absolute love. Parama Prema Swarupa Bhakti. They see themselves in oneness with Ishvara. Verse 17 tells us that among the 4 devotees, the jnanis' minds are totally absorbed in Ishvara. Their devotion has resulted in oneness. Tesham jnani nitya yukta eka bhaktir vishishyate. They are distinguished because Ishvara is their beloved and they are Ishvara's beloved. Priyohi jnanino dhyata aham sacha mama priyaha. This has resulted because they know the tattvas. They know that Brahman is the only truth, which is the Atma in them. This has resulted because of their devotion to inquire into the knowledge of Brahman, which has resulted in wisdom, jnana vijnana yoga, to see their oneness with Ishvara. Verse 18 tells us that the first 3 devotees, first, the devotee in distress, artha. Second, the devotee that is seeking wealth and pleasure, arthati. And third, the devotee that is working towards moksha, jignasu, are all exalted. Sarva eveti uttara. But the jnani is distinguished to be the most beloved, as their minds are totally absorbed in Brahman. Sahi yukta atma. They abide in Brahman. They have reached an end beyond which there is no end. Anu uttamam gatim ashritaha. They are in oneness with Ishvara. They are Ishvara, and Ishvara is that jnani. Jnani tu atmeva. This is the vision of Sri Krishna, me matam. Devotion is defined as Parama Prema Swarupa Bhakti. Between the devotee and the knowledge of Brahman, there is no difference. Because there is only one truth, that is Brahman, and the jnani has become that one truth. Verse 19, Sri Krishna continues to praise the jnani, that at the end of many births, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, having gained the knowledge of Brahman, the jnanis have reached me, Ishvara, Mam Prapadyante, by knowledge that the entire creation is Vasudeva. Jnanavan Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. To become a jnani, it is very difficult. Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Because our minds and hearts must be purified and matured. And a jnani is that rare person who has reached Ishvara. At verse 19, we shall take a break, and next we are going to learn why is it difficult to see Vasudeva is everything. So till then, Om Namah Shivaya.